This is number 6. We've done 4 interviews with Rob on top of the Brython, which are they're a little bit murky, but in the background behind Rob. And we've just done one on triangulation pillars and trig bagging, which has been very interesting. I've learnt a lot from that. But this one, Rob, we're going to do on your 24-hour challenges to see how many Marilyns you can bag in a day. Now, who started all of this off? Who was the first sort of person or people to try?
The first person to try, I think, was possibly Chris Pearson, actually, who had various kind of ideas about it. I think he had perhaps 1 or 2 attempts. Then Chris Upson was the first person to actually complete a challenge, I think, and he did a huge circuit, about 70-mile circuit in the Lake District, which is very, very impressive. This was all on foot, by the way, so it's kind of bigger than the Bob Graham round, really, and he got the Fell Runners Long Distance Award that year, by the way, so it was very well appreciated. Then there have been various discussions about, you know, a driving and walking type of challenge, and we discussed it, and we weren't sure whether it could be done or not. And a chap called Brent Lynham goes off and just does one on his Todd, you know, no running involved, and does 24, pretty much in the kind of area that we're in, really, you know, the Welsh and English borders, where there are quite a lot of Marilyns stuck close together, easy to get between, you know.
So the one that you mentioned Brent did, was that on his own that he did that?
That was entirely on his own, yeah.
And that's a car access between the hills?
Yeah. That was within a 24-hour period, you know, going through the night and driving in the night, yeah.
So how did you get involved?
Well, we had quite a bit to do with each other, and we just thought that, you know, with a bit of running involved, perhaps we could do a few more, so we thought we'd see how many we could do. So I think we had one bit of a kind of a tester, and then, you know, having kind of sussed out the technique a little bit, we went off and got 39.
39 in 24 hours?
39 Marilyns in 24 hours, yeah.
Now again, for the uninitiated, what is a Marilyn? That's the first thing to clear up, really, isn't it?
Marilyn is a hill with 150 metres drop on all sides.
So that means
50 metres prominence, using that terminology.
So the lowest Marilyn that, or the lowest a Marilyn could be in absolute height terms, is 150 metres. Yeah. And one of the great joys with that list, and the next segment that we'll do, Rob, is on the Marilyns and the humps and talk about relative height. But the great joy with that, of course, it opens up vast tracts of land that people may not think that there's many hills there anyway.
Absolutely, yeah.
But when you got associated with Brent, now you mentioned, was it 39 in 24 hours?
Yeah, we did 40 in 24:15, so just over the time, you know. Yeah.
So, but I've also heard in conversation with you that you were attempting, was it 24 in 24 hours? So of course 39 is quite a few more, isn't it?
Oh yeah, 24 was the original idea, but yeah, since Brent had proved that could be done even solo, so we went on to do that. Had another go at trying to get 40, but the weather wasn't very good. Subsequently went up to Scotland, where it's a little bit harder, and just about got 24 in the time. And I've subsequently done an English version. I got was it 29 or 30? I forget now. I think 29. That was doing the driving myself, and having to stop for a nap at one point, unsurprisingly.
Well, I think the most I've done in 24 hours is either the Across Wales Walk, which is, there's a few uphills, but mainly on the flat, and that's 42 miles, but the Welsh 3,000 footers. So, you know, the things that we've been talking about previously today, you know, the big classic 3 24-hour challenges, and also what you're talking about the Marilyns, it's just absolutely incredible to hear it. But if I can take you back to the attempt when you first teamed up with Brent. Now, of course, you mentioned that it's on the land that we're here today, you know, around the English-Welsh border. Where did that record attempt start?
It started, funnily enough, with Raw Head, which was a Marilyn at the time, but has since been deleted.
Of course, that's in Cheshire, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and then we went across to Hope Mountain, which is just in Wales, and then we kind of made our way down through. There's lots in Shropshire, some really nice ones, including things like Caer Caradog, which are, you know, a big old climb, really. And you know, quite fast ascending and descending, and driving in between. So the
time of day that you'd started Raw Head,
that was at night.
It was at night, was it?
Yeah.
So obviously 24 hours, it sounds a little bit silly, but there's one night part that you have to.
The night, actually. I mean, Brent's approach tends to be that there's less traffic at night, and if you drive in country lanes, you can see the cars coming.
Yeah.
Though hilariously, on one of the attempts, we came across a night rally, which is slightly scary.
So we've worked our way on this particular attempt, and it may be quite nice just to concentrate on this one to give the viewers an idea of the territory that you're covering.
Yeah.
We've gone from Rawhead to Hope Mountain, up above Mould area, sort of Wrexham area.
Yeah.
So presumably you're now heading south.
Yeah, Aft Mine was involved. Yeah, I'm not going to recall all the names, but the kind of classic Shropshire, you know, Caradog I've mentioned, the two Clee Hills.
Yeah. Would you have also taken in presumably the Brython that we were on before?
Indeed, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Molagolva, and also Beacon Ring, the Long Mountain.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agolva, as in the golf course.
Yes.
And Shobden Hill.
So
it's like a conveyor belt, isn't it? You know?
So where did it end up with? Rob?
Ended up in South Wales. There's a number of kind of little hills together down in South Wales.
So that was
all of Welsh names that I can't remember.
So that was 39, and was that presumably from the time that you set off on the first ascent? Was it to the last summit or down to the car?
Down. Well, 39 was within the 24-hour from and to the car.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
Yeah.
And how many minutes spare? Any idea? Can you remember when you got back?
No, but as I say, having done the 24th, it was 24 hours 15 back to the car. So,
Now, since then, you also mentioned one that you attempted, I believe, in England on your own. So you were driving as well.
Yeah.
So what area of England did that take you to?
Started Walton Hill, just outside Birmingham, down to Cleve Hill, then kind of up through the Shropshire Hills, finished on to the Peak District 3 and the Peak, including Rawhead again. So I had an idea to go back and do 30, but with Rawhead being demoted, I think that's not going to happen there.
Well, I don't know who to blame for Rawhead demotion. Probably
possibly comment.
Probably Rawhead. No, that was driving all by yourself.
That was, yeah.
Oh, Rob, honestly. So, and you mentioned before you had to stop somewhere for a nap.
I had half an hour kip, yeah.
God. But you've also done the one up in Scotland that you said. Was that 24 in 24 hours?
Yeah, that was with Brent again.
Yeah. Now, I should imagine, again, not knowing Scotland too well, but I should imagine the territory there. Would I be right in saying that possibly got further sort of walking or running access into the Marilyns there than you would do around this area?
Yeah, there's section 21, which is kind of Aberdeenshire. There's some reasonably easy ones there, but there's certainly, you know, more climbing involved anyway, somewhat less driving.
Yeah. Now, I also know that when we were sort of talking about the 24-hour challenges around the Marilyns, you said you thought it may just be feasible to knock off 40 in 24 hours?
Yeah, it should be, yeah.
Now, presumably that would be with, you know, assistance via...
I need a driver,
yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
What about sort of paces on the hills themselves, or would you just sort of concentrate a small, either yourself or just a very small party?
I mean, you're not out the car that long, you know, and you just need to be really efficient, you know. The moment you're back in the car, you know, you're on your way and you write the time down, and
And what area do you think that's feasible in, Rob?
Oh, it would be the same area. England, Wales.
Oh, down on the border?
Down the border,
yeah.
Pretty much a rerun of last time, I think.
Yeah. Well, it sounds good. So
if you fancy a bit of a drive sometime, Myrddyn?
Well, it's a thought actually, Rob. It'd be quite nice to document it on this as well. You know, keep me informed because I'm up for it. So that sounds good. Right, well, that's the Marilyn 24-hour challenge, and what this will now lead into. I'll close off this in a few seconds, but what may be interesting, Rob, now is to on the next segment talk about a couple of hill lists that you haven't completed, and that is Marilyns and the Humps, and talk about relative height. But for now, you know, many thanks again, and I'll just close this off. Cheers.